So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to step one, finding a job. We're going to go through this project as if you graduate from high school and start thinking about what you want to do as you go up. And so, the first steps in starting out are figuring out your strengths. For example, I believe I'm a pretty strong writer. I have good communication skills. I can explain complicated topics and instructions and directions to people. I will do my best to complete my projects in a timely manner. But some of the challenges that I do face, because some things that I'm not great at, are prioritizing what's important to do. Sometimes I focus too much on the decoration and how pretty an object looks or pretty a presentation looks instead of just getting it done to the best of my ability. I focus on what it's going to look like. Another challenge I might face is time management. I get overwhelmed with all the different things that are expected of me that some things slip through the cracks. So that's what I would probably put in one of my challenge columns. Well, then down here at the bottom are just of those challenges, those things you struggle with. How can you be better at that? And we're setting a goal. So if on the bottom, if I wanted to say that I wanted to be better at prioritizing, I would say that down here in this box. I want to be better at prioritizing my time. And so once again, to fill these in, you just double click and highlight, and you can type right over these text type here boxes. And then you give kind of a goal. So what are some of your plans? What is your thoughts on how you would be better at prioritizing your time? So I would type in, set alarms in my phone to remind myself. I would start by doing a to-do list of things that are need to be done, should be done, and can wait for a later time. And so once you have figured out what you want to improve upon, it's going to take about 3 pages to kind of fill out a quick survey on what you're going to do after you graduate from high school. Because we all graduate from high school, and what are you going to do? And you get between 5 options. 0 years, which means you don't go to college. 2 years of college would get you like an associate's degree. That's usually for a cosmetology. You could do some criminal justice. Police officer could do that. 4 to 5 years is a bachelor's degree. Maybe add in on a credential for a teacher. 7 to 8 years is probably a master's or some additional training. But then 10 or more years is probably for a doctor. That's what you would get for being a doctor, or an advanced degree in something, a high-level scientist. So what you're going to do is you're going to look over and decide how many years you want to go to college after high school. And then you're going to click and drag this blue highlight bar over to kind of highlight what you're going to pick, what you're choosing. So if I choose 4 to 5 years of going to college, I get a bachelor's degree, maybe a credential, but then focusing upon this code over here. No college is 0, 2 years an associate's degree is 1 code, 4 to 5 bachelor's is a 2, 3 is for those who go to 7 to 8, and then 4 is for like a doctorate or something. Those codes are going to come in handy on the next 2 slides. So remember the code that you pick. And then after you do that, based on your choice, you're going to find a job that meets your level. And so then if you are going to college, what is your dream university? So you just double click down here and you type in where you want to go to university, where you want to go to college. And then once you have chosen, remember in your code, so if I choose this 4 to 5 years, I can look for code 2, 1, or 0, anything below, but I cannot go above. So anything 2 and below, I can look for in my job. So then I look for these 2 next slides, and you notice that these codes are on the left-hand side. So I see, like if I want to work in retail, that is code 0, that's well within it. Nurse is 2, so I could be a nurse. Anything with a 2, 1, or 0 would be a code I could use. but I can't go to 3 or 4 because those have a higher level than what I have. So then what you're going to do is you're going to look through and find out what job you want to do. So I can choose like 2, and I want to do like a graphic designer. So I could be like, all right, I want to ask and work for graphic design. So I come up here to my scribble tool, and I'm going to circle the best of my ability this graphic designer and what it does. So you notice how it kind of pops. And then you're going to really focus on this salary. It's a monthly salary. So this is what you're going to be working with every month. So remember that salary as we move forward. So make sure you circle it. Maybe I'm going to make it a little thicker so we can see it. Make it in red so it really pops. So then I've circled this to the best of my ability. If you don't feel like scribbling, you can always come up here to your shape and make a circle. You're going to insert the circle to kind of make it look more pretty, I assume. And then, of course, if you are comfortable, you go up to the fill. You can make it transparent. So now you have a circle with a strong surround, nice thick surround, making it red so it really pops. And so you know, you choose like a graphic designer with that monthly salary. So after you have finished and found your job, you have to apply for that job because you can't get a job without applying for it. So we're going to fill out a job application. So these next 2 slides will be the front and back of a job application. And as traditional and typical, you're going to need to put your name. So fill in your name, your mailing address, your state's city, state, zip code. If you have a telephone, like a home phone number, if you have a cell phone number, that's going to be your alternative phone number. Telephone number could be the same as cell phone number, but you're going to fill those in, and then your email address. And then what job are you applying for? On this, you would probably fill out graphic designer. And so then you type that right in here, double click and type it in, and then circle the day you want to work with, just like we did up above. You're going to squiggle it in and say, I can work all these days full time. I can work all these days full time. And then, have you ever been employed by this organization? If you're applying, you probably have not. That's why you're applying for it. So you can say no. You have to be an American, are you an American citizen? You don't have to be. So just type it in yes or no if you are an American citizen. Have you ever been convicted of a crime? You can go ahead and fill that in, make it up, or be honest. If you have been convicted of a crime, you explain what was the crime. Did you get caught, shoplifting? Did you get caught, running from something? Then explain if you have been convicted of a crime. But to think about it, you really want to get this job, so fill it out. If you're applying for a job, you probably don't want to tell them that you were convicted of murder or grand theft auto, because they're probably not going to want to hire somebody like that if you're working for a organization. Then, of course, you need to have a driver's license. Most of you are probably already in middle school, and you don't have a driver's license yet. But since you are going to need a driver's license to apply, you're just going to fill in your state, which is going to be California. You have a California driver's license. And then you have a 8-digit code like a D762555299, and just kind of fill that in as you go. So I jumped back there too quick. So yeah, you got your driver's license. Have you ever been in any wrecks? Have you had any tickets? So just fill each of these out. You can make these up as you go. Then you have the back side of the education. So most of you are in middle school, so you have your elementary school and your middle school. And just try to figure out what year you graduated from elementary school, what year you're going to graduate from middle school. Some of you might be graduating in 3 years, so you're going to be graduating in 2023 from middle school. Some of you might be graduating next year from middle school. And since none of us are in high school yet, type in the high school that you're going to go to, or you're probably going to want to go to, and then the year you graduate, and then the college that you are going to go to, and then the year you graduate. And then, of course, you have the degree or major you've earned. Remember, you're applying for a specific job, so you probably want to, since I'm applying for a graphic designer, I probably want to get my degree in graphic design or digital literacy. So remember, just type that in, which degree. And then you got work experience. So no one's going to, the job you're applying for, no one's going to want to hire somebody who doesn't have any experience. So fill these out. You can have some fun, make them up, but just try to think of jobs that you can do during college that would give you the work experience that would help you get this dream job that you are applying for. So you've got your company or the employer, what you actually do for that job, and then why would you have left that job? And so you have 3 of those. Reasons could be unhealthy work environment. You could work for better employment option was offered. The position was no longer available if there's a seasonal job. And then you've got any special skills that will qualify you for this position. So here, this is where if you're applying for like a scientist, talk about what you've done in science to study and prepare for this job. If you're working as a doctor, talk about the time the medical school you went to and things and the residency you've done. If you are trying to be a filmmaker, talk about all the student projects you've worked on. So all these things that you have done outside the classroom that'll prepare you for the job in this position you're trying to apply for. And then, of course, you've got your references. These are people who can talk about the high quality work that you can offer a position. So you have your name, person's phone number. It could be their fake phone number. It doesn't have to be real. And the relationship you have with them. It could be like a parent, a previous employer, someone you worked for, a teacher, maybe a professor at the college. So you need 2 of those people. Then, of course, you finish off with your signature and the date of when you are putting it together. And that will conclude the step 1 of our individual budgeting project and going out into the world to find your education and a career that you want to work within.